smoke out my nose, leaning on the console. I ain't seen no ass walking out.
Shout out to our boys Long Cut.
Yes, sir.
We just did a podcast yesterday. You guys probably are hearing this next week, right? When are we doing this one? Wednesday?
Nope. It'll be
Monday, right? We do them every Monday?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Super cool.
Yep.
Great event. You guys will be hearing about this later. We had a great event October 23rd.
That's right.
But we've been doing podcasts like every day for like before the event.
Yep.
Some of our speakers, day after some of our speakers. We've got another guy we had at our event speaking. Dylan, super good buddy of mine, man. Like, I like telling the story of like when I met this fucker, right? He's not 40 yet, and he's still muted, so he can't defend himself. I love the mute button.
There you go.
See that? You can't say shit. And now that I'm 40, I can call him a good kid. If you're 39 or under, you're a good kid.
I love it.
Because I'm 40 now.
That's right.
I was at Bill Pipes' event, and remember Fat got sick?
Yep.
5 minutes before we're supposed to hit the flight.
Yep.
And I was already there. He was just coming out after, and Fat's he's our guy. We love him. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I'm like, fuck. Like, I got you on the phone with Justin. I'm like, why the fuck am I out here?
Yeah. Totally.
Like, Fat, why the fuck am I in Utah? Mm-hmm. And as much as people say there's like tattooed people in Utah, they didn't like me in Utah. I go to the fucking hotel.
Yeah.
Not cussing. Okay.
Yeah.
Super kind, super like, I'm just getting weird looks, dude. I had this story. We'll talk about this story in the podcast. Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, why the fuck am I here? Like, these desk ladies are looking at me weird, like, and I have the best room at that hotel. Maybe that's off-putting for them. Like, you've never seen tattoos and money. Fat can't make it. I'm like, well, if we're not getting content from this event, like, why am I at this event? But like, hey, I still want, like, I'm poopy pants is what it was.
Yeah.
And all right, we'll figure it out. And I go to speak. Dylan spoke before me. I think I was a keynote for Bill that day, right? And I'm watching him. He's got his like gym shorts on. I've got, and I'm just like, other guys are in suits. I'm casual. Typically, I'm the most casual when I show up. And Dylan's like, Dylan looks like he rolled out of bed. I'm like, hey, those are high school basketball shorts. Did you just wake up? And he's more casual than me.
Yeah. So
maybe he's like stealing my casual look by double casualing the look. I'm just like, this fucking guy. I can't wait to meet this guy. And I'm not like judging him or talking shit. I'm just analyzing is what I call it. It's a fancy word for judging. I'm analyzing the audience and the speakers and just like, who the fuck is like, I get it, have a brand, but like, all right. And I use him as my icebreaker because anytime I go up on stage, before I get to my actual material, I want to mention something from that day. And I'm mentioning those pretentious fucking girls at the desk. And I said something about Dylan in the shorts. Here's what's cool about Dylan. His entire content team was there.
Yep.
So Dylan runs like a credit management is what I like to call it. Because not only can they help people repair their credit, he also has an entire ecosystem that helps you manage it.
Cool.
To keep it there and to keep it improving. So whether you're buying a home or a car or whatever it may be, yep, he can fix you. Yep, they can get it done really quick. But then it's like, hey, let's do this management side that costs, I don't know, a couple bucks a month. But it keeps you not improving and just managing where you're at so it doesn't go back to where it was at in the first place, minus you consciously knowing what you're doing to yourself, right?
Sure.
Like, which is super cool. But he's got some cool stories, man, because he had some content guys that were there. And it's like, on the surface, you might think like, hey, why is this? All right, we're at a real estate event. Realtors need credit repair guys for folks that need to repair their credit to buy homes, et cetera, et cetera. Or they've got good credit, but they want better credit to get a better rate, right?
Yeah.
A 680 credit score, of course, you can buy a home. But if that 680 credit score were a 740, it'll get you better. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
So you understand why he's there speaking, but he's got his content guys there, and you're just like, and I wasn't necessarily second guessing it because we have a content team and realtors, and I'm like, man, super cool. He's doing the same thing we're doing with real estate.
Because most people don't.
Correct, for credit repair. But he's built it into something even bigger. It's where like now he's just got an entire media team that regardless of like your industry, you can have his team make your content. So he's made another machine out of it, which is really cool. This is something, I think newer in the past 12 months that he's been doing, but it's been fun. And, the number one thing that I appreciated when he was first, he just offered his guy to me like, hey, dude. I was like, I didn't have my guy. And he's like, hey, dude, I got mine. Whatever you need, like, we'll chalk some stuff up. Let's do an interview. Let's do some things. And I'll make sure you get the content.
Yeah.
Didn't charge me for it.
It was good, too.
Yeah, it was good content.
Yeah.
He's got good content on his wall. And we asked him to come speak to our realtors yesterday, which was October 23rd. You guys are hearing this about a week or so later. To just come speak not only about educating realtors on credit repair and where that could be used, but just also having a resource for doing other media. Because we don't offer that. We have that for ourselves, but that's not something that we offer, and he does. And really cool. But I've always asked him to be a part of things because via social media, how well his brand is put together, right? He supported us at WealthCon when I spoke at WealthCon with Ryan Pineda, and just it's been a lot of fun, you know. And like he's a great guy to have on the podcast because for a lot of you, like he's doing well. But just like you and I consider ourselves still obtainable, you know, like the things that he's doing is super obtainable as far as like people being able to understand and see what he's built. But I guess we can take him off of mute. I'm not making too much fun of him. David. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I'm here.
You're finally
fucking
here.
go. And guess what I'm wearing, guys?
Gym shorts. He's got his thighs out. He's ready to go.
It's awesome.
He's
and
ready to go.
It's not even a bad look. I think it's like here's the joke I laid. Because when you were talking, and when I first met you in the back before you went and talked, I was kind of telling you like my experience and like, I don't know, everybody liked you.
Yeah.
And then you were up on stage, and then before I went, right when I was going up and speaking, I was telling about my horrible, traumatizing experience in fucking Utah. And I'm like, but they like this fucking guy. At least I got pants on, like he's tatted. We kind of look alike. He, you know, like he's not as buff as me, right? He's got a better beard, not as buff as me. I have a couple more tattoos than him, but there's a resemblance. Why oh, everyone likes it, but you don't like me? What the fuck's going on? You know, like it was maybe that's why I was bent out of shape, because it's like he's even more casual than I am.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's
because I was more approachable.
Definitely not. You know, like I was super calm. I went up to the desk. I'm like, hey, what's up, ladies, babes?
What's
up, babes?
Problem.
That's what it was.
I went up and I slapped the watch on the counter. You know?
Yep.
No, I didn't. Being a douchebag. No, man. Appreciate you coming. I want to talk about, you know, obviously podcast is day $1.0, right? What was your day $1.0? But I know like your first baby that you built, was it this credit repair company you built, or was there something prior to that you built before that?
So the fast catch up experience was I was in car sales, transitioned into Verizon, and in a 2.5 year time frame was where I got my first big boy business. So they gave me an opportunity to be a managing partner at Verizon.
Gotcha.
So this is where I like cars. I had cars, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have the capital, and you have to buy in. So this is where I started learning like what a P&L was, and you know, when people don't sell shit, you still have to pay them from money that wasn't produced. Which means, oh shit, I had to get it. So this actually turns into the story how I met my wife too. Two-part. I buy the store. I sold the cars to buy the store. And the decision I was going to make was...
So Verizon stores are franchises?
Yeah, dude. They're franchises.
No shit.
Yeah. So you have corporate, and then you have premium authorized retailers.
Okay.
So we were a premium authorized retailer. And so I started working my way through it. I started learning how it worked. I started learning about markets and all this shit. But anyway, that was the first real business. I had to take the most money I've ever had. I had to sell my stuff of what I enjoyed having to say, I want to go and do this thing. And I didn't even know enough about it.
Yep.
I knew about it from the employee side. I didn't know it from like the owner operator side.
And you're like, fuck, I should have stayed in cars or what?
At first.
You should have sold Cricket phones or Obama phones, bro.
Yep. Everybody would fucking got them. But no, so that's what happened. And so that actually kind of ties into, for the people that care about like the whole reason for the shorts, they always want to know like what happened.
I definitely fucking care.
Like,
absolutely. It's not a bad look, and it's your look, right? Like 100%.
So there was two things. There was a guy that used to coach me when I was younger, and just like mentorship, entrepreneurship stuff. And he had a clothing company. It was just gym equipment, and he was like just like super jacked. And his stuff was really good. His quotes were really good. And the one quote on the back of his shirt was, "Men in suits look successful till you find out they work for the man in sweats."
Maybe.
And I was like,
but he didn't say shorts.
No, he didn't. But it still starts with an S. So
shorts look better than sweats, depending on the sweats.
Yeah.
So unless it's gray sweats in the right temperature. So here's what happened. He was always comfortable, always wearing what he wanted, doing what he wanted. And I had this internal competition with him. He didn't know it. I knew it, where I'm like, damn, he's killing it. But I'm inspired by him killing it.
Sure.
And I want to get there. So every time I got a new car, he got a nicer, newer car. Every time I got something, his was always there. I was like, fuck, I always feel like I'm behind. And I was tired of wearing, because in car sales, was always the suits and ties. Yeah. And I was always overjudged by like, you had to have the knot a certain way. You had to have the dimple, the tip of the,
if you want to do
had
well,
to be like,
yeah, you go to some car lots and you're like, what the hell's the matter with that suit?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I think your suit has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
just half of it's just hanging off your body there, buddy. Man. Like, did your suit have a stroke?
That's hilarious.
You guys have never seen that?
That's awesome. Oh yeah.
Shit. So that's essentially what happened. So just over time, I'm like, man, I am tired of fucking wearing this thing and I want to do more. So I was under the impression that it's like, hey, well, if I dress more comfortable and I'm comfortable in my skin, essentially,
sure,
well, then I might do better.
So you sold cars and shorts?
No, I wish I did. They wouldn't allow that shit.
Verizon.
Yeah.
Verizon.
Yeah.
Verizon.
Yeah.
So in my transition, I even wore suits to Verizon because I was so used to it from car sales. And they're like, no, dude, throw on a polo. Nobody's going to fucking talk to you about a phone if you look like that.
Yep.
And that was a shock to me.
Yeah.
And that's where I started learning about dressing to be more relatable, talk to be more relatable.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, because like we can definitely romanticize quotes, right?
Sure.
There's a ton of them, and I'll romanticize the ones that I like. The bottom line is you got to find a way to be comfortable, because like there's successful people in suits
all day,
right? Like our buddy Gavin. You met Gavin at Smoke yesterday, right? Yep. He wasn't in a suit yesterday because he was at my event. Mm-hmm. That guy's never not in a fucking suit unless it's Friday or he's at his fucking little brother Will's stupid event. Yeah. And we're just more casual, and that's that audience, right? Yep. He's never not in a suit, but he wears it well and he likes it, man. He's comfortable in that. Like that's his thing, right? And I think that's what's most important is like, you know, guys in suits look successful until you find out they work for the guy in sweats. True. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, there's bosses that wear suits.
Yeah.
And it just speaks to like, if you go deeper into that quote, it's like, don't judge the book by its cover.
Right.
Is what it's getting down to, right? And no matter what, if you guys are talking about personal brand or what you want to build, like you just got to find a way to be comfortable. Yep. And like for me, man, like when I started wearing suits when I first got into real estate, I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, like realtors have suits, et cetera, et cetera. Cool, I'm gonna wear a suit. And like I'm 240 pounds with a certain background. Like I show up to people's house in a suit and it's like I'm there to investigate them.
Yeah, totally.
Seriously, it was seriously off-putting.
Yeah.
They also knew me from police work and from the fitness world. And so when they wanted me to come over and speak to them about selling a home or buying a home, and I show up in this suit, all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's the catch.
Yeah.
Here comes the salesman. Versus like just dressing because they know you and it's all good. And so I started wearing jeans and just nice flannels and did significantly well. And one, I was more comfortable in that. Secondly, it was just understanding like you don't necessarily have to do something for the sake of doing something unless your boss requires it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So that was essentially it. And then the plan was I lived in Pennsylvania most of my life. So I lived up north.
Are you like a Steelers fan or what?
Nah. So sports have never. I'm such a huge car guy. Like, dude, I grew up at racetracks, building cars, motorcycles, quads. Like that's
more of that than like sports.
Yeah,
got it.
And so then when we started talking about moving, one of the places we were thinking about was San Antonio, which obviously we landed there.
Yeah.
And so thank God this thing prepped me for not having a diehard love for sports. Because, dude, when you move there, it's either like you like the Cowboys or you get out of Texas.
Really?
So like, it's like, dude, it's intense. And so now I come into this real estate sector.
Yeah. And like, you know what? Hold on a minute. Let's just stay right there.
Like, dude, like it doesn't matter.
Who the fuck are you? You either like the Cowboys or you get out of Texas. Hey, you know what? Maybe. If your motherfuckers would win a playoff game, they just lost 49 to what? Isn't it? Are you guys is your crew San Antonio?
Yeah, they're all San Antonio.
You Cowboy fans? Got your fucking pee-pee smacked by Detroit 49-7 the other day. What's up with Dallas?
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all for like, you love the team or get out of town if you're like the fucking Patriots. 7 rings, 6 rings.
Dude, it's when I'm meeting some of these agents and lenders and people, like they will seriously ask one of those questions about your team, and it's like a trick fucking question.
It's like you're in prison and they're like, who you with?
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So are you a Cowboy fan?
No, so
you're rather not. If you are, you have to get the fuck out.
The easier answer is like, dude, I don't even care enough about sports to tell you an answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, and then I always get back to like, hey, but the reason we're here is this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, you know who I am a fucking fan of? People winning. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? and then it bypasses. But like they'll then say,
Don't say that because Dallas ain't winning shit. So
I know.
yeah, you just
I
outed yourself right there.
Yeah, Eli's not even a sports guy, and he knows they're not winning.
damn.
When's the last time they won something? 93?
I don't know, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, I was
something or
born
other.
then.
Yeah, 92, 93.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
born in 93?
Yeah, I'm 30.
Kids.
I'm 31.
We gotta stop
crazy.
having kids on
Damn,
the
that's
podcast,
crazy.
man.
Yeah.
Fucking mom know you're here.
Yeah, I asked permission first.
So you're
good.
doing this Verizon, sure.
Yeah.
Right? What makes you transition like, hey, out of that into I'll try to take a gander at it. Like, do people have shitty credit trying to buy cars or phones?
Of
and
course.
you had to handle those people on both realms, and then you're just like, somebody helped your clients, and you're like, man, maybe I could just do that. Like, was there a pivot there?
There was very close. The difference was I realized that the money that wasn't being produced by the salespeople had to come from somewhere. And every single day we would have people that would love to walk away with the phone, but you got to finance them now. They weren't approved. They were going on prepaid.
Yep.
And then they got to take 6 months to go from prepaid to postpaid. So I'm like, oh, we're not making money now. How do I pay the bills now? I maxed out credit cards. I did a bunch of shit and my credit went to shit.
Yep.
So then I started looking for help. I got fucked by a company that promised the world. It was over $2,000. They kept the money. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So you got fucking helped.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got helped, realized what it was like. And then that same guy that I talked about earlier was throwing on like, hey, do you want to learn how to fix people's credit? And I'm like, well,
So this
like,
guy you looked up to, he had a company similar.
yeah.
Cool.
And it was one of his many businesses.
Sure.
And so he was like, oh, I'm doing a training course. Does anybody want to learn? And same thing, like, hey, you got the inner circle. I got this thing going on. You want in?
Yep.
Took the class. It was a super late night, closing the store. I was late to the fucking Zoom call. I'll never forget it. And I sat there and I listened. I took notes. And then I started applying. But at the same time, I've always been a social media person. I'm always posting my stuff. I'm always documenting the journey. I got a good following, which I didn't understand at the time. Like a good quality following, not high volume or high numbers, but good quality following.
Sure.
So as soon as I started saying like, hey, I'm going to start helping people with credit, the way that I did it was I was a pissed off fucking customer from this other company. And I started bashing them like every day, like every day. I would make multiple Gmail accounts to leave multiple Google reviews to talk shit. I was committed.
Yeah.
And
it was true.
Yeah,
They fucked you.
bad. And like it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But
Well, because back then, like when you're doing the best you can, like $3,000, even now, bro, like
it's a big
we're
deal.
all doing well. $3,000 is a lot of fucking money, dude.
At the end of the day, no matter what, it always is.
I always feel like you need to make it a bit, even when you're winning or you're making a ton, you still got to treat money a certain way. And like, depending on what it's for, because I don't mind spending 10 grand, but then there's sometimes I'll question $20.
Yep.
All based off of like perceived value of what I'm getting for it. And it's like, I do that almost like out of respect for the money.
Yeah. Well, you have
You
to
know what I mean?
respect it. Because
Like I can afford to do more now, but the value still has to be there. I'm not just throwing it out because I have it. Don't abuse money like that.
Right.
You know, like that was a big deal. A couple grand and then so credit didn't get fixed.
Yeah, so credit didn't get fixed. I was actually in a worse position than when I started.
Damn.
And so I was like, fuck, I got to fix this. So I was my own guinea pig and I would post everything. I'd post when I would send letters. I would post when I got my first deletion. I would post when I got my secured card. I would post everything.
So you were kind of like, were you fixing yourself once you got
that was
it?
my first customer.
Yeah.
And then when people would DM me and comment, they would be like, hey, I got this same situation. How did you get out of that? I saw your post. You know, they would DM me because that's private shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, they would comment the support, but they would DM me the help they needed.
Yep.
I was telling them everything I was doing. And then I realized that the industry existed.
Yeah.
And then the Verizon store was struggling. So as I started closing deals through Facebook, now I'm using that money to pay payroll and order more phones and accessories and shit.
Dude, payroll is a nightmare.
Yeah. And so that's what happened. Essentially.
Everyone like in our industry or that's not true. Not everyone. A lot of people that look at industries like cars, insurance, real estate, lending. There's this perceived notion to some that like, hey, we're not commission based. We're just here to service and help you. And it's like, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah. I love commission. Yeah.
Commission based, like you're not fucking getting paid. You're not fucking eating unless you do a great job here.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but they're going to try to give you a worse deal on the car to make more. It's like, not necessarily. And I'm not necessarily sure what they're making. I know where I want to be on the car. So if I'm where I need to be, do I necessarily care whether he made $250 or $5,000?
100%.
As long as I'm where I need to be.
Yep.
And if you know enough about the industry and how to look at, like, you understand where you need to be on cars. Same thing with like houses. Like you want a flat rate realtor?
Nope.
No, you fucking don't.
Nope.
No.
No, you fucking don't. You want someone that's like hungry, that's willing to work hard, and it isn't getting paid until job gets fucking done the right way. And during that time of due diligence with inspections and different things, you want them representing you well, not checking a fucking box because they're getting paid every 2 weeks because Zillow wants to have salaried fucking agents. It just wouldn't work that way. Like, so salary people at Verizon, same thing, man.
Yeah. Same
They're
shit.
not going to upsell. They're not going to get someone a better phone that they need to have a better phone. They're not going to offer them certain things. They're going to like be the worst salesman there is.
Yeah.
100%.
I wouldn't even qualify him as a salesperson. I would say the only true salesperson is somebody who's on commission. If you get an hourly or
100%.
salary,
Agreed.
you know what I mean? So like that's essentially what happened, right? So now kind of fast forward, I wind up having like, dude, I was just frustrated. I was angry. I was like, I got to solve the fucking problem. Then when I realized I could do it on my own, and I'm like, okay, now I'm solving my problem, which then qualifies me to help other people solve the problem because I was able to do it for myself.
You're not the fat personal trainer.
Exactly. So it's like, now I've been putting in the reps. I've been eating cleaner. I've been getting my push-ups in. I've been doing my thing. And now it's evident.
What was different between what you did for yourself versus what that company did? Right.
So,
because like in credit world, man, like people just don't know what the fuck's going on anywhere at any time. They know what their credit score is, maybe, but outside of that, no idea how to manipulate it or anything like that. What these guys do that fucked you? What'd you do different?
So they were doing debt relief. And so how they sold it to me was, hey, you know that one card that you're still trying to stay on top of? We know the other ones are fucked up.
Yep.
Well, hey, we got to go tell a story to the creditors. And so the story has to be believable through data, which means that one you were working really hard on, stop paying it.
Okay.
You know, that car, stop paying it. It's going to get repoed. Stop paying these credit cards.
So they're trying to build a case to where you look like you're in this really bad spot.
Exactly. And it's like, hey, I'm in a bad spot. It's just not as bad as the spot you're trying to paint it.
Right.
And so now here's where the fucked up part is. So now I'm missing all these payments on things I've never missed payments on.
Yep.
And so now it's making the credit score worse.
Yep.
On top of that, I'm putting money into this escrow account like every week, and then they're settling, you know? So let's say if it's $1,000 card, they're settling for a lower amount.
Yep.
You can do that on your own.
Yep.
But it makes sense. You pay for convenience. They know you don't, right?
Sure.
Here's the fucked up part. They charge, this is an average, they charge 25% of the enrolled amount.
Oh, damn.
So here's how our conversations would go. Hey, Dylan, that $1,000 card you have, dude, we took care of it. We got it. We crushed it. Instead of 1,000, it's 500. Well, it's because they really got it down to 250. But now they're 25% of the 1,000 is another 250.
Yep.
Right?
Damn.
So that's what they were doing. So they want you to build this big escrow account, and they're like, yeah, you're going to be paying $26 a month for the next 3 years to pay this $1,000 off. You know what I mean? Like, it's a ridiculous number. And it's because that would then keep you into the deposits of escrow, which means their money's sitting there.
Yep.
Damn. So I understand charging for service and paying for convenience, similar to the car, thing. I don't care how much you make if I'm where I need to be.
Yeah, of course.
But I was not where I needed to be. I was in a worse off place. And when I started doing the math of how much it was costing me to have you do this thing, I wasn't fucking with it. I didn't like it, which, like, a quick fast forward snippet. This is why in our credit management, we have different levels all the way starting from, we have a DIY where you only pay for your credit reports and you pay for nothing else, but it'll make the letters so you don't have to think about how to do it. You can mail them off on your own.
Yeah.
It's like we have different levels for this reason, because it's like, dude, I got fucked so bad because, again, to your point, $2 to $3 grand at that time, dude, that's $100 grand to me. You got somebody who's burning to get dollars together.
Yep.
And they scrape this money together to get started with you.
And you could have been doing your own settlements and all that.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Well, and anytime you're looking around and expecting or wanting people to help you, sometimes it's like, maybe I should help myself.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
I went through Dylan stuff. Yeah, it works. What was I buying? A Lamborghini?
Yeah.
I had decent credit, but it could have been better. And like when you're spending, I don't know what I spent on that thing. $380.
It was sick though.
Twin turboed. It's dope, right? But it mattered because it's like, hey, if you're doing stuff like that, or buying a home, or was I buying both at the same time? Let's get into that.
No, yeah, you were buying both.
House and Lambo, right?
Yeah.
You know what I love? Let me just soapbox for a minute. There was this girl on Instagram who I know through a guy. Well, I don't know her. I saw her post because somebody I coached shared her post, and I was like, what the fuck is this? She was that lender that's like, don't buy a car, and she's being this pretentious. Don't buy a car while you're buying a home. Don't buy this. Don't pull out a credit card. Don't buy a lawnmower. That's what she said. Don't even buy a lawnmower when you're buying a home. Like being that fucking sarcastic of like, the concept is your debt to income, right? Like it's not just about having good credit. Creditors only want to see like your debt being half of the money you make. So if you make 10 grand a month, they want your mortgage plus your other major bills, credit cards and car payment to be $5 grand.
Yep.
Maybe 5,500. 5,800. Like some people, if you got great credit, they'll let you go to like 54, 56% debt to income. I've never seen 60. It's always like 52, 54. And that's if you got great credit.
Yep.
And she's just like being so condescending. And I'm thinking like, you keep talking like that and you're going to stay there. You keep talking like you're talking to retards. You're just going to stay there. Because I think I bought 2 cars.
Yeah.
When I was buying a fucking house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, so what are you talking about, bitch?
Yeah.
What you're saying, like, it's like, no, be educated and understand your process with your lender and just making sure that whatever you're doing during a certain window, it doesn't affect or make you go over certain debt to income. Yeah, man, we were buying over $1 million house alongside of like the Lamborghini. Was it the S8? I don't know. It's depressing even thinking about how much I spent. That's for another day. But the point is, it wasn't just about, I've got shitty credit. I'm down and out. I have a 400. I've been there. Yeah. I've filed for bankruptcy before. So no disrespect to that. It was, I can't remember where I was at, but I know that I was like under the next bracket of like, maybe we're trying to get me to a 740 or higher, something like that. Maybe I was a 680, but we wanted like 740.
It was like going from like tier 2 to tier 1
to get a better rate. Right. And a lot of it for me was like, hey, dude, you got plenty of money in the bank.
Yep.
But see that credit card that you're letting have 75%?
It's literally,
I was like, fuck. Like,
it's like, I'll just go pay it.
While we were on the phone, I just put $3,000 on it and it paid it down. And I was like, and it's not that I was like ignorant to that. Like some of these things I know because we're in real estate. We haven't done a ton of like credit repair with clients. Our average price point is right around $1 million for Eli and I. So most folks are pretty educated and not to be ignorant to that stuff. We just haven't needed to do as much as we did when we were like newer realtors. So your fine motor skills for yourself kind of wear off.
Yep.
And when you're not necessarily purchasing stuff all the time, you're not paying attention to your credit.
Yeah.
You only kind of pay attention to your credit when you're making big purchases. And so like I was fine credit wise, but it was like that time like interest rates were a little bit higher on homes as well. And it was like, let's try to just do the best that we can though. And it was fixing it. And that was also like what was fun, man. Is like, I think I'm still part of your management side.
Yeah.
Here's a customer I was to Dylan. Hey, bro, that done for you process. Not only do I want to do that, you can also just like run my account, log in, do it. Like I'm totally. Way beyond. I'm an idiot. But it worked, man. Like it got my credit up. It worked. I don't know what it's at now, 760 or whatever.
Yeah, it's up
like,
there.
I can't remember, but
it's up there.
It works, and it's. But what I liked about it is like, hey, it's not just if you got shitty credit and you're down and out. It's like, of course, it works there. But here's when it's crappy or even like where I was at. I had dirty laundry on my credit. I had inquiries from like when I had purchased a car a year ago, 2 years ago, that the dealership just threw it out to 60 fucking. And you just got dirty laundry hanging out. I was like, hey, not only did you not even use those creditors, but it's still on there. Like we just need to clean this up. A lot of my shit was, hey, pay that credit card down. You got plenty of money in the bank. Pay that down. Clean this up. I mean, that was the major things that we did. It wasn't like this, but it's things that you're not necessarily thinking of. And then like, hey, if you have someone that's managing that as you move forward, it's like, it kind of keeps you out of the weeds
all day.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's great.
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. Right?
For the most part, yeah.
So it's like, for his example was perfect because it was like, dude, I really need to get here. And it was also time frame, right? Because to his point, like when people want to do something, they want to do it now.
We were under contract on the house.
Right. So it's like, fuck, dude, what do we do? And so it was going through the like, hey, man, the only way to guarantee this is going to come out, dude, you just got to do this and you'll be fine. He's like, oh, wait, what? Like you said, on the phone. All right, dude, I just paid it.
Yeah, because we were good on the house. It wasn't about that. It was just like really trying to just maximize, especially when interest rates were higher. It's like, hey, if you can increase by 40 points and be in this, it brings it down to this, and then your 2-1 buy down will be this instead of this. And it's like,
you're talking 6-figure savings over the life of the loan, by the way.
Which I'll never do. But yes.
even just 1%, depending on the price point, is anywhere from $100 to $300 a month. Multiply that by 360 months.
Yeah.
You're talking over $100K less that you would pay if you wrote it out.
Yep.
100%.
Another point when you're talking about most people think about it when they're
Go
doing a
even
purchase.
macro.
Right.
Hey, dude, that's fucking groceries for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Seriously.
It matters.
Like
$300 a month, because like a lot of folks, like I'm never gonna keep a loan for the life of the loan. I'll end up refining and I just buy shit, right?
Yeah.
But and so maybe people are like me and they just like, I can't remember last time I had a plate on my car.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Was it 2 years?
I have no
2 or 3
idea,
years ago?
honestly. I have
10
no
tags
idea.
all day.
COVID. It was COVID.
I don't even know if I
think,
keep cars long enough to get.
Same.
And I was a cop. So sometimes if I get pulled over, I'm just like, that thing. I'm sorry, man. Hey, just, I'm like, for sure. And here's a little trick that you might not know. Your dealership you get the car from is allowed to give you 2 temp tags.
Yeah, like if you don't make it that first time around, right?
Yeah, they're allowed to give someone 2 temp tags. Like I'll have a temp tag. It's good for whatever, 90 days, 45 days. But I'll keep it for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll pretty much ride it out until someone says something.
Look, guys, it's
and
not
then I'll
just
just
me.
go. I'll just go
That's
get
so
the other
funny.
temp tag.
That's so funny.
Because I know I'll get 2.
Yeah.
So I got like 2 years worth of temp tags.
Fuck yeah.
And here's another tidbit you guys need to know. If you have plates, real plates, like you, law-abiding citizen, Eli, and they expire, and then you wait 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you'll have a late fee, correct?
Yeah.
There's no late fee on temp tags.
Oh, nice.
Sick.
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And then someone was like, no, Will, there is. It's like 6. I've never seen a late fee on a temp tag.
Yeah.
Now we're
See-
in Colorado. I don't know where you're at.
This is all great advice if you don't like ride dirty and have paraphernalia in your car and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's the only bad
Eli has
part.
mushrooms and shit.
Yeah, that's why my car is always like nip tuck. Like I
Yeah.
got to get license plates on there. Like
It's a good point. Yeah, but it was like so keeping a loan for 30 years, like I see the math you're doing. Some of us, like myself, where it's like you live at home 3 to 5 years. You'll probably refi once, maybe twice in that window, right? You'll keep a car for 2 years. Where the interest rate matters is like, $300 a month. Like, hey man, if you're actually looking at your grocery shopping and what you're getting, like guaranteed, you can get like your meat and potato done of like, like your carb sources and protein sources at the store. $300, even though it's like more expensive nowadays, it's still if you're doing well at the store, you can make $300 do pretty well.
Yeah.
Versus, and again, it's like, hey, if there's things on your credit that's just dirty laundry, here's what's worse than you. Not that you could just save $300 a month. It's that like it's already there.
Yeah.
Clean these things off, and then it's like, oh man, it's money in the bank, dude.
Yep.
I mean, to me, some people may think that like, oh, that's like really thinking fucking deep about it. But I think it's the truth. If you're willing to let those little small details go and you just think you could just throw away $300 a month, or you're not going to take the time it takes to get better, I think that applies to all aspects. You probably, leave little details out where you're leaving out money other places. Maybe it's spending time. I feel like you could apply it to everything.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, if you know you could do something better and you actively choose not to, that's a problem.
Dude, you should run my OnlyFans. Like you guys run my credit, you could just run my OnlyFans.
Yeah, it could be another
I could.
little branch
Keep
of
me
the
on a
business.
budget,
See, they're
man.
down.
You hear that, right?
These guys could do it 100%.
Can you imagine? No, it's a good point. But like you also just have to know yourself. Like for me, your done for you process was just more realistic. It's like, man, I can afford to have that. It's not terribly expensive.
Yep.
And I need my time.
What does that look like? What is the done? You talked a little bit about the do it yourself.
Yeah. So 2 levels. One, when it's do it yourself, you're only paying for the credit reports. You have access to the system, and it's $39 a month with no contract.
Okay.
And again, that $39, that's not like, hey, we're getting all 39. It's like $11 and change of that is going to each credit bureau, right?
Okay.
So I'm literally
Gotcha.
going away with like $4 to $6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But that's it. That's all you're paying, and you don't have to think about it. It'll do it for you. You just print, sign, mail. Now, we just recently released, we're taking all the money excuses out of it. Right now it's at $300. It's probably going to go up. What we're doing is $300 one time for lifetime. You pay once, you have lifetime. I don't care if I fix your credit today, in a year, 3, 5, 7 years from now, you need it again. If you locked in at $300, you're never paying that $300 again. You're just going to pay for those credit reports again.
Okay.
Anytime you need help, you're like, Dylan, I need letters, dude, but I'm not doing the fucking letters. Got it. I'll get the letters done for you same day within a few hours. Emailed them over to you. You're good to go.
That's the 300 lifetime.
That's
Okay.
one time for lifetime.
And is that the done
What's
for
the
you
value?
thing?
Like, what's the value for like people that are like in the business, right? Like B2B folks. Like, is there value for you having that database?
100%. So like, I mean, for me to be able to have like the contact info was helpful. Because if I ever release anything, if I ever want to do anything, I have a book of people that I can talk to.
Yeah.
Right. So like now I'm getting kind of like earlier we were talking about some of the coaching stuff. Well, that's where the management side came into. Now I have over 22,000 people in my system. And so anytime I have a new release or I have something that's coming out, or I'm like, hey, I just feel like doing a Zoom call and I want to add more fucking value to you guys to help, I can do it and it gets blasted to so many people. So there's value in numbers.
And maybe people you help, they just want to do stuff with you.
Yeah.
In
Like,
business or whatever, maybe.
It happens all the time. And it's because credit in the industry does not have a good reputation.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right. So it's very easy to just do the right thing and you just typically stand out.
Yeah.
So if I'm over delivering over time,
Sure.
there will be some time you think about me.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're always seeing my stuff. You're always seeing me give value and I'm never putting my hand out. Right. So now it's, hey, dude, you know what? I actually like what you do. You helped me. And now I want to plug you into this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at us. Yeah. You met a
Exactly.
ton of realtors last night at the event, right? Like
Exactly.
you came and spoke, and we do sponsorship stuff like a different way, man. Like we want to have people come speak and support events that we've actually used that do a good job. And yeah, it's paying itself forward, dude. 100%.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I
And
agree.
I think too, like I'm curious your typical demographic, right? Because like, as you mentioned, credit repair companies maybe not having the best reputation or something. Like I think a lot of people, and this is probably where you're changing the image of a lot of it, is that, you know, credit repair companies, like again, you talk about like Cricket phones, right? Like you're like that's the type of demographic or person or whatever is going to be there. Just like, I don't want to say anything like offensive to anybody, but just like, maybe not the highest caliber of person.
Yeah.
Right?
Jewish Eli with the perfect credit. And
owns
all the banks. Jewish Eli.
You'll see my credit later. But yeah. So what does that look like? Like typical demographic, and then kind of how you're working to change the perception.
I bet it's across the board.
It is.
Yeah.
All day. So you'd be surprised how many people are cash rich that need my help.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised. Now it's me.
Well, right. Prior to
That
that
wasn't terrible, but I needed it. Yep.
Yeah. Prior to that, if this conversation was never a thing and that experience was never a thing, most people think, oh, they got the money. They don't need the credit.
Yep.
But there's a lot of savvy people that understand, hey, how much you pay for your insurance, auto, home, renters, everything is dictated by your credit. There are things you're obligated to pay for that you're overpaying.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and when you're when you're cash rich, you're not necessarily like focused on your credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like.
And so I try to take that over and I say, yeah, that might be the thing. And you can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. But the fact is, if that's an area of your life that you can improve and get better,
do it.
Why would you not do it?
Yeah.
Right. So, and then maybe you're not
the
going to
only
use your
reason
credit.
to not do it is because there wasn't a done for you process.
Right.
Now that there is, it's like, hey man, it's not
or
like,
the companies that were out there were ones like you
dude,
were
a couple $100, bro. Like when he told me how much it was, I was like, yeah, dude.
I think he thought it was. I think he was like throwing it. Oh, what is it like 4 or 5K, something like that. And
I thought it might have been 1,000. I think.
Yeah,
like
it was
1,000
something. It was something
because we've met people in that world just like you did. It was going to cost you 2,000, right?
Yeah,
we've seen the gamut, man. Like 100%.
Yeah. And so the model that I take is, hey, most of the people that I do come across are having a money problem at the moment. So I can't stomach to be like, hey, let me go charge you this astronomical amount because it's good for me, because it's not good for the person.
Yeah.
Well, or you take all the money and then you go tell them to like pay some credit cards down and like, bro, I don't have any money to do that with.
Right. And that's why we do the consultation. You like, before I even take anybody, I look at your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because I can't sit here and say I can help you unless I actually look at it. I compare it to cars.
Yeah.
You know, hey, my car's making this noise. It's driving different. How much is it going to cost?
Bring it over.
Yeah. Interesting. So, and then how does your model like scale like that? Like if we're talking a few $100, like how do you scale that?
So how it works is I go like kind of on like the Sam's Club Costco model.
Okay.
Where if I charge a little bit and I get you a result that you weren't expecting in a good way, everybody knows at least one other person. So I got really good at follow-up. I learned when it was an appropriate time to ask for a referral.
Yeah, because if you're making, $4 to $10 per person, but then that adds into like thousands. Like at some point, like it takes them on its
like I said, just to give some of the numbers of the idea is we've helped over 12,000 people and have 22,000 people in the system.
Yeah.
And not everybody is an active credit repair client. There's somebody who they're just using our credit monitoring or they're using our DIY.
Yeah.
Right. So now I have huge volume. And so the money is there.
And so there's some recurring revenue too.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single month.
Right.
So
Interesting.
That $10 you make or $6 you make per person adds up over time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Talk to us about this content machine you've got. Like you got the homies here, man. You guys are doing some awesome stuff. Where did like you go from like, because even when you were just mainly doing, and you're still doing credit repair, don't get me wrong, but like you were always like building the brand of that.
Yep.
At some point, the thought of, hey, this thing I've made to support my company, could I just turn that into a machine that people could plug into and I could help people make their content?
Yeah. So here's what happens. They were making the content for me. So I'm putting in the reps to learn how to speak better, how to show up on camera better. Then I'm like learning angles and I get this weird obsession with it. I'm the person, I don't know if it's my ADHD or whatever, but like I get hyper focused at random times. And I'm like,
yeah, you're a kid. You fucking kids, like born in the 90s. You're like, you want to start with what's wrong. I mean, I'm happy to help tell you what's wrong with you.
So now I'm like, man, I love when this video, and then I started having opinions like, hey, I see how you're doing this. Can you do it this way? I have this vision for this. And then I would host classes. I was doing classes for credit. And so then we would do a bunch of recap, create the FOMO. Then I'm working with more agents, working with more lenders. Now they're like, dude, how are you packing classes?
Hold on. Fear of missing out on a fucking repair my credit class is like fear of missing out on like an IRS fucking class.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know if there's FOMO there.
Tons.
I don't know if it's fear of missing out or if it's like the guilt of I know I need to go do it.
Here's why I call it the FOMO.
See how you kids fuck shit? You guys fucking
fuck shit.
We made FOMO.
That's
okay?
funny.
We made
funny.
FOMO.
That's funny.
It's almost like that knot in your stomach of like, I got to go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I wasn't doing it.
It wasn't like, oh man, I can't believe I missed homecoming. Like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't go unfuck my credit today.
Well,
Hey, what'd you do today? Dude, you'll never believe the day I had. Amazing day. I went to a credit repair class.
Bro, I could see it. If
Really?
you actually get your shit fixed, you
Fuck
get your shit
you.
fixed. Yeah.
I'm weird.
Yeah.
So here's why, because it's in the way you're saying it, yes. In the way I'm about to explain it will give the perspective on why.
Verdict is still out. Let's hear it.
So here's what happened. I went initially, how can I get more clients faster? And this is where I start working with agents and lenders. And so the FOMO became on how I created and marketed the classes was, hey, how credit repair can help build your business.
Yeah, agents, you're missing opportunities.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Because there's clients right in front of you that if you could just help them with their credit, you could help them buy a home.
exactly.
And then for the client, hey, you could be a homeowner.
Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't marketing to people who needed help with their credit.
I see
The
what you're saying.
classes were for the agents.
Got it.
Right. So it's like, hey, imagine talking, about the market and blaming the market when it's actually a you problem.
Yeah.
I know
It's like I knew that, but then
you
I
just want to
say
find a way to
something-
talk shit.
But then I say something to get you to like speak to like what audience and what target you were going for to like pull the actual lesson out
There
for
you
the
go.
audience listening.
There you go. Yeah.
Fucking
It's like I
genius.
knew. It's
There
like
you
a
go.
fucking like a goddamn Jedi over here
And speaking to, I want to get to the content piece,
Yeah.
but just a little bit on that.
on those classes.
What's the average like turnaround time? Like, let's say an agent is working with someone, they have less than ideal credit, or they're
Assuming
thinking
they
that
turn in documents on time or
Yeah.
whatever you need on time.
but they're like, hey, I can't, this person, they're just not there. What's average turnaround time? Yeah, predicated that you have someone that's
Not
proactive.
documents, but like your
Yeah, yeah.
application that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 to 6 months is
Yeah.
a good comfortable time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had some people do it a little bit sooner. Because,
Depending on
like,
what you need. Because they do
Exactly.
like you can do a rapid rescore on certain things.
Yeah, like
and
you
can have
you did some quick shit.
So we did some quick stuff because like I was working with him when I was going to buy Scott's house.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
Yep.
like the last 2 months when we get pregnant, we decided to move to Southeast Aurora, so we're going to buy a different home. So,
Yep.
because we closed on the home I bought here in 2 weeks.
Yep.
But it was about a month, maybe 2 months prior to that, when it was like, remember we were in that window of like, oh, we're pregnant. We're going somewhere else. We got to
Right.
get closer to in-laws. That's where it was at. But some of the stuff that we were doing for me did allow a rapid rescore,
Mhm.
which allowed it to turn around quicker.
Yeah.
The short answer is there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his situation, because he had the money and it was a simple fix, it happened a lot faster.
I'll call it 6 months or
And
less.
it was like dirty laundry. It was like dirty laundry. Like,
Yeah, like, there
because
was
not
nothing
not everything was a rapid rescore. It still
Right.
took about, because I remember I bought another car, go figure, like 8 months later,
Sure.
and my credit was even better.
Yeah.
Because there were still some things that just took some time. But there are some stuff of like paying a credit card down, you can rapid rescore that.
Yep. all
Some
day.
dirty laundry stuff of some like old thing,
Sure.
stuff like that. If you pay it,
Yep.
they'll do a rapid rescore and you can have it like I think within those 30 days or
Easy. Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because a rapid is usually about 7 to 10 days, depending on who the lender is.
Okay.
And so, like, as long as a thing happened, and you can say, like, okay, I see my updated balance in my app, then go tell them, go do the rapid rescore.
Because it's been paid and there's a paper trail. And they can,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
Stuff
got
like
it.
that.
Right. So there's a lot of variables in the short way. It's like, hey, if I had $500,000 to spend a house, all of your variables are going to be, well, is it new? Is it pre-owned? What location? What school district?
Yeah.
Taxes, right? So there's a lot of different variables.
Yep.
So to the time frame, if somebody has like a lot of collections and charge-offs, well, we can't control the response time of the bureaus.
Yep.
They're mandated to a certain time, but we can't control it.
Right.
But we can control how fast we get the letters out. We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
control that part. So
Okay.
control the controllables.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
100%.
Okay.
So content
But
team.
now
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
So to now save myself back, he was saying about like, oh, no FOMO. Well, the FOMO was for the agents because think credit is a boring topic. Nobody really gives a shit that much unless they're in the situation. So my
Credit
thing-
is like oil changes and brake changes, dude.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like not the fun stuff you do with a car,
No.
but the most important shit you'll do on your car.
right. Well, that's a really good one. I might steal that.
You're welcome. Hey.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, here for you.
So now here's what happens. I'm thinking, how can I get these agents to give a shit about what I do?
Mhm.
And so it was understanding what the outcome was if the job was done right.
Yeah.
And then that's how I applied it through the classes. And I said, hey, I know you have people that come to you and say, I think my credit's here. You say, well, why do you think that? Oh, well, it's Credit Karma. And the only thing you tell them is it's not accurate, but you don't know how to explain why the lender needs to do a pre-approval.
Yep.
Right. And then you just try to pass them off to the lender.
And
then-
you don't know how to fix it.
Exactly.
You need it
Don't know.
fixed.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's easier to say, oh, well, that's not my lane.
Yep.
Well, I'm not trying to make you the credit expert, but if I could give you just enough to where they feel comfortable and
What
want to
if
go
you
to the
help
lender.
2 to 3,
Research.
4 people? You're like, dude, that's like, what if they end up being approved for a $500,000-$600,000 home?
Yeah. And
Right.
those are some of the people that give the best referrals when
We helped
you
them.
when you helped them out of a situation. Like, dude, they're telling, hey, you got to work with my agent. They did this.
100%.
Everyone knows someone, even if it's one person.
Yep.
And then so sometimes you work with a person with bad credit, and let's say it took 6 months, 8 months. Oh man, this fucking closing sucked. But because you suck it out with them, I promise you there was at least one time you've experienced this where
Yeah.
then they give you this like 800 credit score, 100 grand in the bank, super easy fucking close deal. That was
Never.
they
Let
just
me
didn't
tell
like
you.
you.
Let me tell you, kid. We've never fucked up a deal. We've never had to drag something to the mud. Yeah, I mean, we've had hard deals because they were hard.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like you
But-
sucked.
But let me tell you,
You got the dad voice.
This is that 40-year-old
Look.
wisdom right there.
those people hang out with those people. We've gotten referrals from those people.
Yeah.
It happens on both sides of the fence. We'll start with this side of the fence. Those people have given us referrals, and it's been like shit. However, we've also had very wealthy, very well off, good credit. And you know who I'm thinking of? Hollywood director. I won't say his name.
Yep.
You know who I'm thinking of?
Yep. Oh yeah.
This fucking guy would love to sit and have a beer with this guy. The stories he's got from Hollywood, et cetera, but his fucking behavior and how he was speaking to Eli or speaking to him, just a real fucking pompous.
Mhm. I'm better than you, and you need to know it.
But also not so, but just very entitled,
And
opinionated.
yeah, and like everyone's trying to fuck me sort of
And
mentality.
that was the hardest part. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Got it.
Like the
Those
victim,
people have
and it's
also
like,
sent us
bro,
referrals.
you're fucking everybody. Like
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah,
and
It's
you're
you, fucker.
you're the one fucking
Yeah.
balls deep in all of us right now,
And-
and you think everyone's fucking you.
But Eli's such a professional dude that he handled this client so well that they introduced us to their kids who need to buy a home. Eli's like, hey man, he didn't say this to the client. He tells it because we do everything together, right? He goes, hey man, like I can't remember how it happened. We ended up talking like, oh yeah, I remember fucking so and so. Like, yeah, he's like, their kids want to buy a home, and I was like, oh, cool. He's like, hey man, we're not fucking helping those kids. Like,
Bro,
He's like,
I'm
do
not
you want
helping
the
him.
deal? Because I
he's
don't want
like,
it.
he's like, I'm gonna say hi to him or whatever, and like, but dude, just based off how it went, like with him, like, are you cool? And I was like, dude, Eli and I've always been cool no matter what. The money we spend or the risk we take.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you don't want to work with him, we're not working with him, right? He's like, I'll say hi to him or whatever because he don't want to be a jerk.
We
about
did a
it.
showing.
Yeah.
We-
And they said they were interviewing they were interviewing some other agents, and Eli heard that and he's like, Yeah, great. Hey, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
You should. Absolutely.
Well, dude, we did a showing with them, and on the house that we were looking at, it was in Denver. He's outside. The kid was outside, like literally inspecting the sidewalk, the city sidewalk in front of the house. And there's like a variance, and he's already talking about calling the city about the sidewalk and all this shit. And we're just outside of fucking showing. And it's like, oh, bro, we're already there.
The city's going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
and
dude.
by the way, you're in Denver,
Oh,
buddy. The house
no.
is going to sell, and you don't have to be the buyer.
Yep.
Thirdly, I feel so bad for whoever's going to be your fucking neighbor.
Dude, yeah.
Could you imagine? We end up not working. So, like, being funny, it's not, I'm not just trying to say broke people I'm not saying that at all. Like, and by the way, I'm not saying broke people have bad credit. Like, you'd be surprised. It's typically more well-off people that have figured out a way to make money that then just didn't navigate
Don't need
this.
credit. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
No, definitely. But yeah, man, that was pretty much what happened. The classes started to take off.
And you were getting content from the classes for your brand, building like brand awareness around what you were building.
Yep.
So somehow that converted to like, I'll just help others.
Yeah. Well, what wound up happening was they were like, man, how do you get so many people to show up? Because every time we do it, it'd be a packed class.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I made a couple posts. And they're like, oh, you didn't run ads? You didn't? No. I just posted. And what I was posting was the recap stuff. But then we would also get a lot of photos. If you notice, a lot of photos of other people like we sent to you yesterday.
You sent me a ton of my double chin.
I didn't take it. I sent it.
Dylan was like, hey, dude, I just got 50 photos of you. I'm like, why do I have 100 chins, Dylan?
I guess that's what happens when you're 40.
God, no. It's what happens when these young bucks try to get, it's like they always get the worst angle of you. And all these motherfuckers.
So you guys got Facetune or something back there? You can just like,
oh no, there's no curing it. You guys got it at the right angle, man. There's no curing that bad boy. Yeah.
So now it's like, oh shit, this seems cool that they wanted to go to something because of how hype it looked. And then people love seeing themselves look good. To this case,
you do make it look cool.
So now,
I mean, or not. Like I definitely not case in point. I broke my fucking heart.
See, you broke his heart.
You
broke his heart.
I'm just a dad, dude, trying to get by.
I know. Look, now he's drinking a Coke Zero over there. Yeah.
Hey,
I don't even think that's a
see
zero.
that? Dude, I'm on a new mission.
It is. Yeah.
I'm on a new mission.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Changing lives.
I'm going to have like a I hate chins shirt. I'm just going to go like, whatever you don't hate, you'll tolerate.
See, this is the credit report. You just slapped a credit report in front of Will, and he's like, oh, shit, I got to do
Will
something about this.
Don't slap anything on my desk. Kindly talk and warm me up to the idea. You slap it on my desk, and I see that abruptly. It's going to be a bad day.
Hey, Will, we got some photos of you, but before we send it over,
I know
you might want to know.
Shit.
So now what happens is like people are like, man, I want to fucking go to this thing. And they're like, well, I'm trying to do some of my own classes and first time home buyers events and things like that. And I'm just trying to get a better show up rate. And I'm like, hey, well, you got to show people you're actually doing something and that people give a shit about what you're doing.
Yep.
And be consistent.
Right.
Yep.
Throw events every month.
Yeah. Dude,
they don't have to be big. Just do something every month. People will start to come around, man. They'll start to trust that you're more consistent, more serious about it.
In moving to San Antonio, we have on record through like calendar and content over 1,500 classes I've done in less than 3 years.
Yeah, that's great.
So we were doing them often. So it just caught traction fast. And remember, I'm not from there. I'm from PA. So I moved there July of 2020 and I'm doing these classes. And when I would first start meeting people, the look you were getting in Utah at the front desk was me in almost every mortgage company's office and broker's office, right?
Yeah.
Where they'd shake my hand, they look down, and then they're like, yeah, cool, we'll let you
They're
know.
like, oh, this guy's credit sucks.
You know? Yeah.
We don't want to talk to this guy.
Fuck this dude. So, but now look what it did.
Coming in his gym shorts and his fucking tattoos.
Exactly.
Like,
But now everywhere I go, I stand out in a good way.
Sure.
Because at first, for the people that know me, they're like, oh, the dude in shorts. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah. Sure.
And then so now I start building this brand unintentionally, but I become aware, it becomes now intentional. And then,
why you haven't made Dylan as a short brand, I don't know. Like, you don't think we could have a brand that's called Dylan's?
Something.
And it's like it's like shorts.
Yeah.
He can make his own style, like casual dress, gym, like short. Like Gymshark or like whoever, right? Like, or like 10,000, like 10,000. Like you could have a brand called Dylan's.
I'm down.
And they're just, you know what I'm saying? You're welcome.
Thanks.
No big deal.
Take
big
another
deal.
sip.
No big deal.
That's
Just
funny.
me.
With every sip is another idea.
That's why they
See?
pay me the big bucks
For
over
real.
here, guys.
Yeah,
Dylan,
that's right.
hey, you ever see, you got a pair? Oh, are those a pair of Dylans?
That's right. It's like Dillard's, but
That
Dylan's.
does fucking
Ri-
write
ri-
that down.
Take
Get
take
that-
the same font as
We
Dillard's.
already
too.
bought Dylans.com, so
God
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah,
we'll sell it to you.
We do. That's what he does. He buys
just buys domains.
buys a domain, plants a seed, and then he can buy it.
I was
from
like
us.
yelling at Eli yesterday, like buy domains from Justin.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
in prevention of Justin getting him, our
Yeah.
boy Justin, the mushroom guy.
Oh, shit. So that's essentially what happened. And then when enough people were asking, like, man, I really like these pictures. I really like these videos. I really like how you're doing it.
Can you help
What
me
offer?
with it?
Exactly.
So that's when you're like, kind of like you're not epiphany because you probably saw that coming.
Yeah.
And then it was, but like, what allowed you to like, okay, because I know you got to get going, so you have to hit the airport. At some point, you had to have enough infrastructure in your business for credit repair to not only like see this idea for, hey, can you help me with my own content? Yeah, you got guys that can shoot it, whatever. Like, you have to have enough time and capacity to do that. So, like, what did you decentralize in your credit company
So
to give you your time back? Right? Because are you still doing those classes for realtors and other professions to this day?
yeah, just
Cool.
not nearly as often, but yes.
But then you've also got, I'm guessing, some position players that are in that business that then still free up your time so then you can actually help people make content to build the content side of this company.
Correct. So how it happened was, what are the things that I'm really good at, and what are the things that I can do but I don't want to do, and then what takes the most time versus the least time? Well, I can create leads really well by doing classes and talking with people and being the front person, but I'm not processing letters. I'm not doing updates. This is where we start hiring customer service. This is where I started hiring.
So
a
you
sales team.
were doing a lot of the things until you made enough money, then you could like,
Right.
Okay, got
Right.
it.
So, and now mind you, like today, I've been doing credit for over 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. So like I've got it dialed in. And then how I knew that I could start growing this was because I made one successful company already.
You made a funnel,
Right.
Yeah.
a machine, not a
And
funnel,
so
but a
now
machine.
I replicate it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, hey, what do you want to do?
You have that
How do you wanna
assembly
do it?
line. Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost like how Fords or Chevys or whatever, like an assembly line, how they build cars.
Exactly.
You built an assembly line with a product and a service, and then how that has to go through that assembly line. Like now it's like, hey, different product, same concept.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've learned the concepts through actually building the business. So I've learned all the lessons and the do's and the don'ts. And now I'm like, okay, different industry, but same thing. I'm dealing with
Sure.
people just in a different
Yeah.
capacity.
And yeah, I mean, and you're already getting in front of all these realtors and stuff and lenders to help them with their clients.
Yep.
Well, now I can just, and this is important for you guys to understand. Oh, I can hit the same audience with a different product.
Yeah.
All these same
Yeah.
realtors and same lenders, you
Yeah.
can now help them with their content.
Yeah.
But
And
they're they're the same client you've had, and you've built that book of business. Now I just have something else I could sell them.
Right.
Look at Nike. They
Yeah.
had shoes.
Yep.
And they had shirts.
Yep.
Then they got pants. Then they got fucking underwear. They got fucking you name it, right? It's like,
Yep.
and it's all. I mean, they're still growing their audience. Don't get me wrong, but they're also able to retarget the same audience because, well, people who need shoes need pants.
Yeah.
Yep.
And shirts.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, hey, realtors that need help with getting credit repair for their clients also need content for their brand, and like, and it's a great way to go about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
100%.
That's how I just started getting obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, how can I help build the person to make them better? Well, dude, I speak to so many people that are so good at what they do, but they don't know how to articulate it when the camera's on.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
moron.
Yeah.
You know?
What a fucking who can't do that?
How'd you go about finding right people, man?
No, I know.
Like as
but
you're
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I
There's
know,
a
I
lot. I know.
as you're growing the content side, like I love, these guys show up, they're on time, they're polite, they've got dope fucking gear, they got all the right shit. One thing I loved yesterday was maybe like halfway through the event or so, I went outside and it's like, or maybe like event might have been over, but there was like a break. They got a lot of content, and I walk out in the lobby, and they're all out there on their computers, fucking editing.
Yep.
Like
They're on their computers right now. They haven't
the-
edited my fucking chin yet.
the same day. They're
Yeah.
just like, man, they're on it. But again, polite, respectful. They show up well. Like, how'd you go about finding the right people? Did you not find the right people and got rid of them? Like, what does that kind of look
I
like?
went through a lot of shitty people before finding the right people.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like, even with the gym, you go and you kind of do the reps, but they're a little bit shitty.
The guy
Then-
that I met,
Yeah.
is he still around?
No, he's around, just not with me.
Got it.
Mm.
Nice guy.
Nice dude.
Yeah.
Very nice dude. He's done a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of great things with me. There's a whole story I'll tell you off camera, but yeah.
Well, and here's like, I'll just give you my observation from it because it wasn't bad. I think he's a
Yeah.
great guy, but he was trying to control a lot of what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also just like so capable,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you find the right matches, like the guys you have right now, like great
Mm-hmm.
at shooting the content, great at editing. They probably want nothing to fucking do with talking business or some shit with me like the other guy was.
Right.
And
Social
it's nice
media
because like when
strategy
they're over here, right? They're just off of our set and they're on their computers editing and doing a thing, but they look happy. Like that's their shit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily want to be over here talking business or helping someone with business. Like they like to be behind the camera.
Yep.
And editing because like that's their art, man. They're like, and if people don't understand artists, it's like, dude, videographers and editors are artists.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to be doing certain things, or not that they were antisocial. They're great guys, but that's their happy place.
Totally.
And then there's other guys where like I felt like the guy that I met that was doing your podcast and stuff when I was around when you were at WealthCon.
Yeah.
Great guy, but I felt like he kind of wanted to be both.
He did.
Like he was good at what he did, like behind the camera, but he also kind of wanted to be out in front with distance. Like, not that that's bad. It just means, you know what, man? Maybe it's time for you to go do your own thing.
Yeah.
Because we're both trying to be the same person, and it just even like with me and Eli, right?
Yeah.
Like Eli and I, we have a lot of crossover just because we're both licensed and things like that. But like, there's things I do he wants nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's things he does I want nothing to do with. I'm like, dude, we wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. He's like, what are you talking about? We wouldn't exist if it weren't for you.
Yeah.
That's just generally how we feel, and we don't clash.
Yeah. 100%.
We can just run, parallel with our skill sets, and they're complementary to each other. And I felt like that guy was just like, he wanted to just maybe go build his own thing. I don't know, but there's a little toe stepping there.
Yeah. So he had his own thing. He came, he approached me. Hey,
but couldn't run the business of it.
Right.
Like wants to, but just didn't make the right decisions with it.
Right.
Those are hard guys to work with, man.
Yeah. So, and that was essentially it in the short form. And it was just like, I started to notice a pattern that as I'm growing my own brand and meeting people like you guys, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get in different fucking rooms here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to say this in a negative term or tone, but I would label him as like an opportunist. So he would see an opportunity of like, oh, whoa, like the reason he wanted to talk business was because if he can impress you, then he'll go and like DM you or reach out to you on the side to try to go and get business. Yeah. And so I had a lot of people send me screenshots of like, yo, I thought he was your guy.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I was like, ooh, this is not good.
Yep.
This is not a good thing.
Yeah, he did that to me.
Yep.
There you go.
If I ever told you.
You didn't, but
it didn't matter because like I'm just a loyal guy.
Yeah.
But it's like if you guys are partners, he shouldn't be doing that.
100%.
Right.
It's like, hey, he's not my guy. We're partners, but it's like he was using the audience you were getting in front of to poach off of.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And if someone's not going to be loyal, it's like, yeah, man, like you're literally like you're kind of like growing your competition per se. And like there's abundance. There's enough to go around. It's just kind of like it's a party foul, dude.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it comes from a bad place. Some people are just like eager and they want to go, but it's like, hey, it's a little self-absorbed.
Yeah.
And if I can kind of feel like you just want to go back and do your own thing, but you're not necessarily saying that.
Right.
It's very similar to like people that know they're going to quit a job.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just like use all their vacation time and then just then they'll go another 6 months of just like not fucking working before. And it's like, hey, dude, all for you not liking your job and not liking your bosses and cool, but like, hey, just fucking leave though.
Yeah.
Don't do that. The opposite is like, hey, if you kind of know in the back of your mind, you're going to peel away and maybe do your own thing again, but you're going to hang around enough to like,
it's
network with people that you're getting in front of because of your business partner, knowing you're going to part ways with him at some point. It's like, hey, man, not saying you need to be partners with the guy, but like, why would you mooch? Like, it's just kind of like
dude, same feeling.
Yeah, it's just
Same feeling.
it's just a shitty move.
Yeah.
But dude, that's how partners work. And some like this is the only guy I've met like where partnership works. Not that I've had any like bad ones, but like Kurt and I, dude, he's a great friend of mine. Love that dude. Well, at the supplement company, he let me be number 2 in his company. At some point, visions just kind of like don't necessarily align. Yeah. And here's what I love, dude. When I was working with Kurt, right, I was getting ready to leave Fit Republic, and mind you, I worked significantly harder the last 90 days I was there, and I was already working fucking hard. I was trying to make sure I set that place up for success before I left. But what was really cool about Kurt, because we were still friends, and we're still friends to this day. I talked to him a week ago. I almost like didn't leave because it was kind of like my baby. Like it wasn't mine, but I was number 2. But that was like the first thing I had really helped grow and build, right? And so it kind of felt like mine. And I was like, man, like you think I should? And I also thought like he might be mad at me for leaving it. I kind of felt guilty there. And we were just kind of hanging out in the doorway, right where the back room was to the showroom floor at our corporate store, like our main store. And he's like, man, he's like, so I was like, you think it'd be this, that, and he's making me feel better. And he's just like, hey, dude, you know what? Like, I think it's just time for you to have your thing, man. I think it's just time for like you to like do your thing. you know, and he gave me 10 grand on the way out the door, which like it's not a ton, but he didn't owe me that. He paid me, and I made commissions off of opening stores, and he paid me like he didn't owe me anything, and he gave me 10 grand to just, you know, launch me on my way. And like I thought that was cool. It didn't last long because I wasn't doing shit. There's that whole fucking pantry story. We'll get at that another day. But hey, that was cool. But it's nice when like your buddies, man, even when you're doing business, and then maybe at some point like you're not aligned, or there's just a different vision. It's like just giving someone permission of like, hey man, I think it's just time for you to do your thing. And the way he said it, it wasn't like he was trying to get rid of me.
No.
Like I know when people are kind of like saying like, you know, doing that, like, oh, it's not you, it's me. Or, oh, it's just time for you to fly. Like he was saying it from such a caring place. You know what I mean? Of like, you're a rock star, dude. Like I remember him coming to my office sometimes, man. He'd be like, well, sometimes I don't even know what you're doing. Like I know you're here. I just like don't know how it's all come together and how you're doing. And he goes, he walked to my office one time. He's telling me, he's like, and then the second I want to come in here to like kind of pinpoint what it is that you do and how you get us to grow.
Yeah.
I'll walk in your office like today and you tell me you just got the phone with Phil Heath.
Mr. Olympia.
And I was on the phone with Phil Heath. And it's just like, he's so analytical. He needs to connect dots.
Yep.
Right. And for me, it was like just networking and positioning and how I could like bring things into the company. And like, dude, I mean, we built 14 franchises in 2 years on our own. And I was selling those franchises to people. Yep. But it was so abstract as far as like how to be influential. In networking. It wasn't his analytical side, and that's not even what we butted heads on. It was just interesting to see that. But he got to observe me in those 2 years, 2.5 years of like operations and growth and whatnot. And it was like, nah, dude, I think you're just ready for your own thing, bro. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, and I wish more things happened that way, but hey, it is what it is. You got to have some of the bad shit to appreciate the good, right? Or to be able to,
and you just got to push. You're like, at the end of the day, like, it's not even, I don't even know if it's bad. It's like, just don't have the expectation that like every opportunity or every person is going to work out.
Totally. Exactly.
Just don't have that expectation in the first place and just navigate as you see fit. Like, not good or bad. Just keep pushing.
I feel like it's even easier or an even more simple way to just say it is like, hey, if you're only doing something for the gain is the problem you need to work on, do the thing because it's the right thing. And eventually the shit will just come to you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't put money on it that today this was going to happen based off of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told you earlier, like, hey, the video wasn't to go pitch you for videos because I never did because I didn't have an offer.
100%.
But it was like, look what happened now.
Hey, can I help? Someone needed something.
You know what I'm saying?
You had some people that could help, and it was like just doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
So where do you got this content company? What's it called?
VPM, Vision Partners Media.
You got your credit company.
Yep.
What's that called?
James Warren Group.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Is that where people go to websites or?
Yeah. So actually, I just launched the new website. I did a whole redesign of everything in the effort of simplifying things. I realized as I started to grow, it would get more complex.
Too many platforms, too many steps.
So then I dialed it all back. So now the website is iwantbettercredit.com.
Oh, great.
I even took away like JamesWarrenGroupInc.com. Like right now it's existing, but it's going to go away.
Did you have to buy that domain from somebody? Or was it just
No, it was actually available.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually better.
Bettercredit.com,
Wow.
son, I bet.
Yeah. So I want better credit.
Yeah, credit.com, not.
Yeah.
Bettercredit.com, probably not.
I want better credit. That's great though.
Yeah.
Because how many people are just Googling, I want better credit? Yeah.
Right. So, and at first we were going for I need bettercredit.com to go on the needs analysis side, but that shit was taken.
Yeah.
Or I need to hit a plane.com.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I do.
We'll have you back on at some point, buddy. Like it's always fun to have some repeat clients because anytime we're doing stuff with folks, man, they end up just coming back. Like super similar, like what Joe Rogan has his buddies back on, things like that. But I know you guys have to hit a flight. I want to make sure I keep you guys on time. But
shoot us your links. We'll put it in there.
Yeah, text Eli your links, show me your links. I'll make sure he's got it. We'll have it in the body of the episode, and I'm sure you're gonna take some of his content. And
I'm gonna chop it up, post it. Yeah,
100%.
That's right.
And if you notice, like there ain't no fucking double chin.
We're all sitting over here now.
I don't
with
even have one.
Bro, he's gonna go look through all his shit now and see.
No. Trust me, I don't have one.
That's
when they catch me, like, what? Yeah, he got me doing that. He fucked me, bro.
That's
we need I need a redo. I'm going to appeal this.
Facetune, boys. Facetune.
No, it was awesome. Your boys are a lot of fun, man. They're good dudes. We appreciate you coming by. We'll have you back on. Any questions for Dylan or whatever, maybe you guys will have links and everything into the episode below. You'll also see it on Instagram, on my page, on Dylan's page. You'll see it plenty coming out. So if you guys need something from him, reach out or reach out to myself. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys soon.
Day $1.0.
We're out of here.
Little whiskey on the tongue and some long cut. I'ma slip it on down and turn it up. Southbound and we're trailblazing, yeah, but and a posse dirty, filthy like a spit cup. Dropping bombs at the gate, bringing big guns. Raw records be the steak, we the A1. Speak up and we know where we came from. Welcome to the posse, let me hear you long cut.